Well, let's kick it off with Disney and Comcast. Both stocks today are moving to the upside. This comes on news that Disney will take full control over streaming service Hulu. Comcast, a part of the owner, has the option to sell its stake of Hulu over the next 5 years. Yahoo Finance's Brian Sozzi is back with me. And Brian, what does this mean in terms of Disney's plans of rolling out even more OTT content, because we all know that Disney Plus is on the way?
Well, first thing to note is that I don't think anybody's surprised by this. This was a heavily telegraphed deal. Bob Iger, Disney CEO, basically said this was going to happen when they had their investor day a couple weeks ago. But Sean, to your point, I think what you're seeing is now Disney, while they're going to have to pay up a lot to do it, will now have their Netflix.
But do you think that maybe they will offer some sort of package deal with this, with Hulu and with Disney Plus? Because breaking down the numbers here, eMarketer expects Hulu to have 63.9 million individual users this year. That's more than a 19% increase over the last year. So they already have a customer base there.
They have the customer base, but they're also to keep in mind too, they're not profitable. They're not profitable by a wide margin. Almost, I believe, over $1 billion in losses are some of the estimates I saw for this year. But for Disney, they're going to now have operational control of this. They could start planning. They could start planning original content and integrating it with the Disney Plus service, and that is very important.
What does it mean for Universal, NBC Universal, providing its content? Because I think what I read was that it'll still provide its content for Hulu at least over the next 3 years.
Over the next couple of years, but they will pull that away. NBC wants to have their content on their own streaming platform. Certainly we saw Disney pull its content off of Netflix so it can launch Disney Plus. It's just a reality of being streaming. But on Disney, I think it's also very important for investors to realize this is another effort or another initiative by Bob Iger that will raise the cost base for Disney. So I think investors have really become accustomed to seeing just Disney blow away profit estimates and everything's great. But here's a company, their cost base is materially changing. You have Hulu, you have the Fox business they're trying to integrate. They have to come out with a massive cost-cutting program, and I don't think it's there yet.
Do you think they will be able to compete with Netflix and on the same scale? Obviously it's going to take several years just because given Netflix's success over the last, 5-10 years, especially when we've really seen the revenue growth take off, number of users. They're going up against a major giant within the space.
It's not Hulu and chill, and it's unlikely it will be Hulu and chill 5 years from now. Netflix is a darn beast. They're spending over $1 billion this year in original content. Now, I don't want to bet against Disney. Disney is also a beast. It's has a phenomenal catalog of stuff and content, but Netflix is dominant.
Brian, I also want to get your take on another story. ESPN, which is owned by Disney, is teaming up with Caesars to develop what they're calling shows for sports betting. This obviously will be out in Las Vegas. When you hear about this deal, it would take time to digest it. Do you think this is going to be a winning strategy for the company moving forward?
It's really weird that we're now going to grow up in a generation watching, I guess, anchors talk about in real time sports betting. Look, Pete Rose is still banned from the game of baseball because of gambling, but it makes sense. I think Caesars has quietly made a push. They partner up with the NFL. They have a lounge at the Prudential Stadium. They are quietly wanting to, I think, almost create like an esports model when it comes to gaming.
What's interesting to me is that it's such a niche audience, though. Yeah. So to be putting all this money into, I guess, something just in regards to trying to figure out the potential of this would be a little complex.
I'm not watching some 80-year-old pull a slot machine handle down
on
ESPN. It could happen, but I'm not watching it.
I know. All right, Saz, thanks so much.